welcome back to Spare Time. I am very happy to announce a new how-to series I'm starting on a Spider-Man costume. Let me show you the pieces I got so far. I've got the shirt done so far, sleeveless. I'll do the sleeves in the next video. This is the shirt. And this is the pants. I'll be going through how to do this. Some of it's hand sewn, some of it's just machine sewn. I'll be showing you how to do both. And I will be using the pattern we made in the last two videos. Excuse me. I will be using the pattern we made in the last two videos, so if you didn't have that pattern down, go check the last two videos. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get on to there before I ramble too much. Alright, so assuming we already have the pattern all together, the arms, foot, head, and glove piece, we're going to put that aside, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the fabric. Right here I have a blue and a red fabric, and I would recommend you get a 4-way stretch, not a 2-way stretch like these ones are. If you can't find a 4-way stretch, a 2-way stretch will work. You just gotta make sure that it stretches the way you need it to. Like for instance, if you need to stretch upwards, make sure the upward way is where you're placing it. And then you're gonna need a needle. This is your best friend if you're hand sewing. I use scissors, a roller. If it was sharper, I would have used that. And an X-Acto knife. No idea why. Don't ask me. And I also use this marker. I don't know where it is, or an inky pen. Whose it is? An inky pen would help you. And then this little thing right here really helps to get thread through the needle. I didn't use it, of course, but yeah, this is something I really did use. This is a seam ripper or stitch ripper. It actually just goes into there, picks up the thread, and cuts it off. In case you make a mistake, this is a really good help. And also some pins. Wee. Excuse me. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the design for the Spider-Man suit. So I'm going to show you these illustrations that I got from Google that I do not own whatsoever. As you can see, Spider-Man's suit kind of goes into a red and a blue separation, which is how we're going to have to cut our pattern. And as you can see, it kind of just goes like a straight line downwards. You kind of just have to customize your own. Also, I want to go over the back, how that one is just a straight line for like around the top of the shoulders. And right there, it's a straight line for this suit as well. And for this one, it's kind of like an upwards curve and then a straight line. And then this one is kind of a straight line, then a curve point, and then a back around. And that's the one I'm going to be going with for this costume. And it also kind of goes with this suit too, so that's a plus. Also, I'm going to be making a 7-piece suit because that's what Spider-Man wore in the comics. It was a 7-piece kind of shirt, pants, boots, gloves, and mask. So this is the pattern I made, and I made this before I had one solid color material. So yeah, I also added some extra material for where I cut the pants, just so that when I bend over, it's not gonna like show the seam and kind of just embarrassing. And this is the separation for the shirt piece. That's what it has to separate and look like. You kind of cut it like that. And there's that little piece of the shoulder right there in the corner. There's the neck piece right there, and that's how I cut the arm right there. And that's about it for that. So I laid on the fabric, the pattern onto the fabric, and I put about a 1/2 inch of space around the fabric, so I cut a 1/2 inch away from the fabric, that's what I mean. And this is just for sewing, so when you sew it together, it's going to shrink when you sew it together, is what I'm trying to say. So you're going to want to make sure that you get a little bit of space around the pattern, so when it does get sewn together, it's not going to get too small. Also, you're going to make sure everything is symmetrical. Like if you have something that's supposed to be the left side, make it the left side. If you have something that's supposed to be the right side, make it the right side. You cut it to the right side. Anyway, next part. This is the suit that we have. This is all the fabric cut out and placed on the floor, and I only have one piece of arm because I sewed the other glove and arm, but right there, that's all of that. We're going to start with the pants. So first what I did with the pants, I grabbed the two ends and I pinned them together with a safety pin. So, and then I just lined it all up and safety pinned it down, and then I pinned the pants together. That's hard to say. And you're gonna want to make sure that you pin the pants separately, not so you make the pants one piece, but kind of just like two pieces. And yeah. So I put it up to me to make sure it would fit right, and I did try it on, but that footage got deleted. So yeah, and just gonna make you try it on, but you'll want to be careful because you don't want to rip it because the pins might tear the fabric. So just want to be careful with that. Next, I took it to the sewing machine, and you can do this with a hand stitch. I put a link in the description to hand stitches that help me. But I'm using the sewing machine because I really needed to get this video done and out there, so that's why. And also, it adds a bit more strength to the sewing machine. And right here we have some more sewing machine, in case you were wondering what a sewing machine looks like when it's sewing fabric. Basically, I sewed up both of the edges, and then I sewed up the legs around, kind of like a U shape. Okay, now we're going to be doing the shirt. I took these two pieces together, and I just grabbed some safety pins and pinned two at the top curve right here, and then one at the bottom, and then one at the middle. That's the pin I did right there. And next thing I did was I took a thread and needle, and I did hand sewing for this line up here at this top. And I was doing hand sewing for all the curves and delicate parts of the costume, something that the sewing machine might get wrong because I'm not really too good with it. And plus, I kind of likes doing hand sewing. So once I got to the little curve around, I could do a straight line. I took it to the sewing machine and sewed it down, and just went it like it is and fed it through. And then I got this piece right here. And once I had this piece right here, I took the rounded blue part that we made earlier, or should have made earlier, and now we're gonna have to connect them together. You can see that right there. So I folded the two ends together, and you're gonna want to make sure all of the parts that you're sewing face the same way. Like you don't want one facing the outside, one facing the inside. I don't know how to explain that in a better way, but you know, you're just gonna make sure all the seams are on the inside of the shirt. And there's that shirt right there. Next, I took the belt and kind of just sewed it to the blue pieces like so. I'm gonna have to extend the belt later, but that's I just put the shoulder pieces together like so. And I just did that with some hand sewing. You just kind of follow the pattern that you made to put those pieces on right there. And yeah. Next, we have to sew up the back of the shirt. You just put the two ends together, and like I said, make sure all the seams are facing the inside of the shirt, not the outside. Basically, just keep the shirt inside out until you finish up all the stitches, then you put it right side in. And now we have the shirt sewn together, but we're not quite done yet. We still have a few more things we need to do. So what I did was I took the shoulder piece and connected it to the collar. You kind of just want to pin this together, try the shirt on, and kind of play with the measurements and where the shoulder and the collar piece should connect. Now we have the shirt. Next, what we have to do is the neck piece, which is literally straightforward. I already did the sewing because I thought you guys would be tired of seeing the sewing machine. And the way I put it on was I lined up this little measurement, this little line right here from the back, that seam, with the seam from the neck right there. And I just make sure those were connected straight lines. And then, I just kind of laid it on all around and sewed it together. And there's the neck right there. And then right here, I didn't have the full belt piece connected, so I just measured out the gap between the two belt areas and then grabbed some scrap pieces of fabric and tried to lay out what piece would fit where. And I ended up using 3 different scrap pieces of fabric to fit around the belt, as you can kind of see right there, but not quite. And there we have the shirt. That's about it. Alright, so that's all I have for this. With the shirt. And now we have the pants as well. And unfortunately, it's all the spare time I have to share with you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be talking about the arms, the gloves, the boots, and the mask. And in the next video after that, we'll be talking about designs for the webbing and stuff like that. And yeah, so hope you guys have a great week, day, whatever, and I'll see you guys later.